Well, heidi-ho there. My name is Brent Smith, and I'm the Common Constitutionalist. And you may have noticed that there's no video going on today because the weather was not permitting. It just didn't cooperate. I even thought about going outside, and the weather just said, I think we'll rain on it. So here I am inside doing an audio podcast. So today I've got one topic. I had two topics. I was going to do something with quoting Walter Williams, my hero, but he got usurped by this story. So this is the only subject today, and this is vote buying 2020 style. That's what we're going to be discussing today on the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Audio Podcast. Be right back.
You are listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Okay, I'm back. So, ask yourself, just how much will buy your vote in 2020? How much is your vote worth in the 2020 upcoming election? And while you're pondering that, I'll quote something from 2012, The Washington Post. In 2012, The Washington Post wrote prior to the presidential election in November, quote, "The price of one bona fide registered American vote varies from place to place, but it is rarely more than a tank o' gas. Indeed, as a rising furor over voter fraud has prodded some states to mount extensive efforts against illegal voters, election fraud cases more often involve citizens who sell their votes, usually remarkably cheaply. In West Virginia, over the past decade, the cost was as low as $10. That's pretty cheap, bro. I'm not sure I'd sell my vote for $10. Last year in West Memphis, Arkansas, a state house candidate used, get this, $2 half pints of vodka, unquote, unquote. That's freaking awesome. They found that, quote, at the high end, corrupt candidates in Clay County, Kentucky, once paid $100. But that was probably too much, or evidently too much. It attracted one woman who had already sold her vote. I guess she just figured, hey, if I'm going to sell it once, why not sell it again and again and again, whatever. But the man who bought it first was outraged, and he beat up the man who bought it second. Unquote. That's a classic. And now that's some serious corruption going on in Clay County, Kentucky, when both candidates buying votes, they're total dirtbags. But, I mean, how often does that happen, where both candidates are total dirtbags? I mean, honestly. Still, that doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot, does it? Even $100, I'm not sure I'd sell my vote. I would not sell my vote for $100. Don't know what it would be. I hope you're still thinking about it, but I wouldn't sell my vote for a lousy $100. Certainly not for a $2 half pint of vodka. I love that. That's just great stuff. So how much? How much would someone have to offer to change your vote? And would it depend on the race? I mean, should there be some sort of like a vote buying pay scale or something, like some sort of bribery hierarchy or something like that? I mean, you get the $2 bottle of vodka at the local election for the state. What do you get? A case of vodka or something? And the federal, you get a coupon for your a year's supply at your local liquor emporium. I don't know. So, okay, since we're heading into a presidential election, let's just properly assert that this one is the big kahuna, the grand prize, obviously. In other words, getting rid of that evil Trump is so paramount that $100 is nowhere near going to cut it. If I'm going to sell my vote, I got to be paid. Know what I'm saying? So let's say, just for giggles, that a presidential candidate approached you while he or she was walking the streets of, like, say, anywhere USA. You know how they go out and they walk around thinking that they're regular folk or whatnot, and they do it all for camera, for photo ops. And the candidate approaches you on the street and says in hushed tones, that if you vote for me, I'll pay off your house. So you say, are you freaking kidding me? And then the next words are done and done, bro. Let's go to my mortgage broker right now, or my bank, and you got my vote. There you go. But, is that a little too much? I mean, how about if they just offered to pay off your car? Okay? Several $100,000 house, that's a little excessive, even for one vote. That's excessive for like 100 votes. But what if they offer you to pay off your car? What would you do? Just how much is your one single vote worth? I mean, you don't even like this candidate necessarily in this scenario. You were actually going to vote for somebody else. But I'd venture to say that, I'd say about 99.9% of Americans would take that deal. I mean, it's only one vote, right? It's not it's going to change anything if one candidate offers to pay off your car. You get one vote and somebody else will cancel you out. It's not that big a deal, and you get a car free and clear out of it. Sounds like a heck of a deal to me, bro. So now, before I venture further into the weeds on this thing, would this not be considered a kind of voter fraud? I mean, obviously it's voter fraud, right? If somebody is voluntarily coming to you and in hushed tones saying, if you vote for me, I'll give you X. That's bribery. That's voter fraud. Correct? Correct. I mean, the candidate is literally purchasing your vote. So if you think about it, how is that any less illegal than pretending to be someone else, going into a polling place, or changing someone's absentee ballots or whatever? Fact is, it isn't. They're all illegal. But still you say, well, what could hurt? What could it hurt? It's just one vote. What's the big freaking deal? It's not like any candidate, not even a billionaire, could afford to just have his people fan out all over the country and offer to pay off everybody's car. That's ridiculous, right? I mean, nobody's got that kind of money. Really, the only we'll call it an entity that could make such an offer would be somebody something like, the federal government, right? The federal government certainly has lots of money. We certainly spend lots of money. But, of course, that's a ridiculous scenario. That would and could never happen. So don't hold your breath waiting for some candidate to say, give me a vote and I'll pay off your car loan. I mean, it's illegal, first off, and it would be so obvious what was happening that no one would be stupid enough to try it. No candidate would be stupid enough to try it. Well, Shazam! It turns out it is happening, in a manner of speaking, and almost no one is connecting the dots or even thinking of it this way, which is the only way it can be thought of when you actually think of it. And this is called a teaser. So I'll tell you all about it after the break. Be right back.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
All right, I'm back. So, we've been hearing for months about all the great and really expensive plans that the Democrats have for making the planet and our lives so much better. Trillions of dollars to stop the climate from changing. So, real quick, I always do this, but real quick, I'm going to just go off into a tangent on the old climate change thing here. So think about that for a second and how absurd it now sounds now that I've changed the words. Let me repeat it again. Trillions of dollars will not stop the climate from changing. So you can say it two ways. First, stopping climate change is one way you can say it. Then just say it another way, and it means the exact same thing. Stop the climate from changing ever. Now ask yourself just how arrogant does somebody have to be to think that they can do anything like that. But that's in fact what these dopey Democrats are promising. They're promising to stop climate change. If we pay, what's Bernie, $16 trillion, we can stop climate change. But stopping climate change is stopping the climate from changing. It's the same thing. It's just a jumbled mess of words. That's all it is. And nobody Nobody, except for God, can stop the climate from changing. So there you go. Okay, back to vote buying. So another program which isn't as insane and impossible as stopping the climate from changing ever is the promise from Sanders and Warren, I think, and a couple of other minor Dems, that if elected, they would cancel most, if not all, student loan debt. Now, we've all heard this program being touted by Warren and Sanders for sure. And everybody who's got a bunch of student loan debt, and that's a lot of people, are thinking, that's so great, right? Well, the American Spectator writes that, quote, in total, that would be about $1.6 trillion, which sounds like chicken feed compared to some of the climate change crap. But that equals about 42.8 million borrowers, quote unquote. So let's do the math. 1.6 trillion divided by 42.8 million, and you get $34,500 per vote. That's what you get. And that, my fringe, is a crap load of votes from every corner of the nation, don't you think? And so what Rush Limbaugh has been saying for decades now is that, unless we on the right have a really dynamic candidate, Trump in this case, it's really, really hard to run against Santa Claus. Because Santa Claus is the man or woman, or transgendered Santa Claus. There you go. Ho, ho, ho. Sorry. But Santa Claus is the man who hands out the gifts, the free stuff. So it's hard to compete against that. And he's right, because almost everyone can be bought for a price. Almost everybody can be bought for a price. So I'll take one more quick break. I think it's one more quick break. And we'll be right back to it.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
Okay, I'm back once again. And I want to thank everybody for listening, those who are listening. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you very much. And if you like what you're hearing, obviously share, click, like, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. You know what I'm saying? So here's another sobering factoid for us to choke on. We all know Hillary Clinton. We all know Hillary Clinton won the national popular vote, and we all know what that means. Well, exactly squat, because it's the Electoral College that wins the election. And if you don't know that by now, you need to leave the country, immediately. And we also know, hopefully, that save for 2 states, the Electoral College vote is based on who wins the state popular vote. And if you win the state popular vote in each individual state, you get all its Electoral College votes. So if you win the popular vote in New Hampshire, where I live, you get all the Electoral College votes. That's the way it works. But it turns out that Hillary was really close in a number of those swing states that Trump won. But he won and got all the Electoral College votes, and that's why he swamped Hillary. But apparently all she had to do was get about 79,000 more popular votes in a few of these swing states, and she would have won. So it was still fairly close, although the Electoral College vote was a runaway for Trump. It was pretty close because, again, like I said, it's winner take all for the Electoral College in all but 2 states. So, yikes. All right, so let's get back to vote buying. Out of 42,000, let me do that again, shall we? Out of 42,800,000 college loan borrowers, don't we think that just maybe there might be 80,000 or more, frankly, who would be persuaded to vote for one of these loonies to wipe out their college debt? Hell frickin' yes, they would. Of course, it's not going to be presented that way. If you vote for me, I'll pay off your debt. It's just presented the way they're presenting it now, as some sort of human right or something like that, when in fact it's a lot of bull crap, and basically all it is buying your vote, which is illegal. So it is not just some side effect of a good deed proposed by the Democrats. As Bob Ross would say, Look him up if you don't know who Bob. Everybody knows who Bob Ross is, that painting guy. Love that guy. It's not just a happy accident, friends. Love him. You got to watch that dude. He's hilarious, man. This is all, like I said, it's all just such bullcrap, particularly for these two. Warren and Sanders are dirtbags who will do virtually anything to get elected, and they both know exactly what they're doing and what the purpose is of what they're doing. And like I said, this is not just some happy accident or side effect of a good deed by the Democrats. This is pure and simple 100% voter fraud. This is vote buying. And it's just so blatant and public and in our faces that no one is even saying or thinking about it in these particular terms. At least I don't think so. And is this no different from offering somebody a tank of gas or a bottle of $2 vodka? It's just on a much grander scale, but it's the same damn thing. It's just as illegal. And frankly, I'm not sure what you do about it. I mean, I don't think you can lock them up for just promising to do, that this is going to be a policy. But this policy is happening way before the election, and it's going to sway some voters, I guarantee you. Some people are way underwater with loan debt, and if they think that their loans are going to be forgiven, just paid off in their stead, you don't think that they're going to take a flyer and vote for Sanders or Warren or something like that? And something like this could turn the election if it gets enough traction. Right now, it's just some stupid thing that they're thinking of, just another giveaway to the left or from the left. But when you think about it, again, it's just a method of vote buying. It's no different from some guy, offering you $100 or a free tank of gas or a bottle of vodka. Cheap freaking vodka. It's not even good top shelf stuff. Now, this is it's a daggum travesty is what it is. But again, it's Santa Claus, and that's what the government is. Our federal government is Santa Claus. It is everything it's everything to everyone is what it is. And it shouldn't be. All this crap that they're promising, all this crap that they're doing is not only unconstitutional, it's anti-constitutional. So that's about all I got to say. But this is terrible. And I don't hear anybody talking about it in these terms. The American Spectator brought it up, and kudos to them. But other than that, everybody's just complaining about how expensive it would be and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, it's just flat illegal. I mean, it's just vote buying. It's voter fraud. It's the same damn thing. So my name is Brent Smith. I'm the Common Constitutionalist. Thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed balance of the weekend. And I'm sure once I'm done this, I'll look outside and the sun will be shining and the birds will be chirping. That's all I got. I'm out. See ya.